The roar of the crowd is deafening. Thousands of fans are on their feet, their voices blending into a single, thunderous chant that shakes the entire arena. Bright lights cut through the darkness, illuminating the ring where a figure stands, larger than life. John Cena. The legend. The icon. The man who has taken on the greatest warriors in wrestling history. But tonight, his opponent isn't just another fighter. Tonight, he faces something different, something bigger than a championship, bigger than the roar of the crowd. Tonight, he stands across from a man whose presence alone sends a ripple of silence through the sea of fans. A man whose purpose extends far beyond the squared circle. And as they lock eyes, the energy shifts. This isn't just a match. This is something else entirely. A hush falls over the audience. The usual cheers and jeers are drowned in a strange, electrified anticipation. The man standing opposite Cena is not here for glory. He's not here for belts, for fame, or for the spotlight. His journey is one of purpose, of belief, of conviction that cannot be pinned down by 3 slaps on the mat. Dressed in simple, unassuming attire, he is a stark contrast to Cena's larger-than-life presence. He carries himself with quiet confidence, with an aura that suggests he is not here to entertain, but to challenge something greater than the man before him. Cena smirks, rolling his shoulders as he paces the ring. He's been in countless battles before, against the best of the best. But there's something different about this. He feels it, even if he doesn't understand it yet. The crowd, usually a wild sea of noise, now watches with an eerie sort of curiosity, sensing that this isn't just another scripted showdown. The man standing before him, his opponent, meets his gaze with an intensity that is neither aggressive nor arrogant. It is calm, steady, and unwavering, as if he already knows how this night will end. The bell hasn't even rung yet, but the tension is thick enough to be cut with a knife. Cena takes a step forward, expecting the usual pre-fight theatrics, the taunts, the showmanship. But there's nothing. No words. No bravado. Just silence and eyes that seem to see through him. And for the first time in a long time, Cena feels something he hasn't felt in the ring before. Not fear. Not intimidation. Something else, something he can't quite name. The crowd begins to murmur, whispers spreading like wildfire, as the two men remain locked in this silent battle of presence. Commentators scramble to find the right words, unsure of how to frame this moment. Is this a fight? Is this a confrontation of wills? Or is this something beyond wrestling? Beyond sports entertainment, beyond anything the fans expected when they took their seats tonight? Cena clenches his fists, muscles tensed, ready for whatever is coming. He's faced legends, titans, giants, but none of them ever stood before him quite like this. There's no flashy entrance music, no pyro, no grand spectacle, just a man with a message that doesn't need words. A message that seems to echo through the very air between them. The referee steps forward hesitantly, unsure whether to proceed. This isn't like any match he's officiated before. There are no scripted insults, no flexing for the cameras. Just a moment suspended in time, charged with an energy that no one, not even Cena, can fully grasp. And then, just as the referee raises his hand to signal the start of the match, the man before Cena finally moves. Slowly, deliberately, he raises one hand, not in challenge, not in threat, but in something far more profound. And in that instant, the entire arena holds its breath. Cena's eyes narrow as he watches the man's hand rise, the movement slow, deliberate, carrying an intent he can't quite decipher. It isn't a challenge, nor a taunt. It feels like something else, something deeper. The crowd, still buzzing from the unspoken tension, seems unsure how to react. This isn't how a fight begins. This isn't how these moments usually play out. Cena's instinct is to move, to step forward, to do something, but he hesitates. And in that hesitation, he realizes something. The man before him isn't here to play by the rules of entertainment. He isn't here to put on a show. For years, Cena has lived inside the world of spectacle, where rivalries are built with words before fists, where the crowd dictates the energy, where every movement is part of something bigger, a performance, a battle designed to fuel emotion, to entertain. But this moment is different. It feels real. And that, more than anything, unsettles him. Because if this isn't for the cameras, then what is it for? The man before him doesn't move beyond that single raised hand, as if offering something unseen. His expression remains calm, unwavering. He has the presence of someone who has already made up his mind about what is about to happen, and that certainty is what makes Cena uneasy. He's used to fights that come with doubt, where the strongest competitor is the one who can push through the uncertainty. But this opponent, this man, has none. He knows something that Cena doesn't. And Cena, for the first time in a long time, feels like he's the one on unstable ground. The whispers in the crowd grow louder. Some fans are restless, others are captivated, drawn into the eerie energy of the confrontation. Commentators scramble to fill the silence with speculation, their voices betraying their own uncertainty. Who is this man? What does he want? Why isn't he reacting the way Cena's opponents always do? Cena tightens his fists, his body tensing with muscle memory, preparing for whatever is about to come next. But still, the man doesn't move, his hand raised like an unspoken question. And then, finally, he speaks. His voice is quiet, but it carries through the charged air of the arena, cutting through the noise, reaching Cena with clarity that shouldn't be possible over the restless crowd. "You fight for them," the man says, his tone neither accusing nor admiring, just stating a fact. "But do you know what you are fighting against?" Cena exhales sharply, his brow furrowing. He's had countless opponents try to get inside his head, to throw him off his game with mind games and cryptic words. But there's something different here. This doesn't feel like an attempt to break him down. It feels like something else, like an invitation. The crowd's confusion deepens. This is not what they came for. They expected a fight, an explosive battle of strength, not a confrontation of words and presence. Some fans chant Cena's name, hoping to push him into action, but he doesn't respond. His instincts tell him that this moment requires more than just a reaction. For the first time in his career, Cena feels like the battle isn't about strength or endurance. It isn't about wins or losses. It isn't about entertaining a crowd that expects to see him dominate. This is something else. A different kind of test, one he's never faced before. And in that realization, a new kind of tension settles in. The man lowers his hand, his gaze never breaking from Cena's. "You think this is a battle of will," he continues, "but will alone does not decide the truth." Cena exhales, steadying himself. He doesn't know why, but something about this man's presence makes him feel like he's standing on the edge of something much larger than himself. He wants to brush it off, to turn this into something familiar, something he can control. But he can't. Because deep down, he knows this night is not like any other. The referee hesitates, glancing between them, unsure whether to start the match or call it off. But before he can make a decision, something shifts. Not in the crowd, not in the ring, but in Cena himself. He feels it. A weight. a question he doesn't yet know how to answer. And just like that, the energy in the arena changes again. The fight hasn't even begun, but something far greater than a match is already unfolding. The silence in the arena feels heavier now, like the moment before a storm. Cena shifts his weight, his instincts screaming at him to do something, to take control of the moment before it spirals into something he can't predict. But there's an invisible force at play here, something beyond the ropes of the ring, beyond the familiar rhythm of a match. The man standing before him, still calm, still unwavering, isn't just here to fight. He's here for something else, something can't quite put into words. And for the first time in his career, Cena wonders if sheer strength alone will be enough. The referee, caught in the uncertainty of the moment, hesitates before finally signaling for the bell. The sharp clang echoes through the arena, but it does little to break the tension. Cena takes a step forward, muscles coiled, ready for the usual exchange, the opening grapple, the test of strength. But the man doesn't move. He stands firm, watching Cena with the patience of someone who is not waiting to strike, but waiting for something far more important. And then, just as Cena prepares to engage, the lights flicker. The crowd stirs uneasily. It's subtle at first, a brief dip in the brightness overhead. But then it happens again, a flicker that lasts longer this time, the screens around the arena glitching for a split second before returning to normal. Cena notices, but his focus is still locked on his opponent. The man's expression hasn't changed, as if he expected this, as if it's all part of something greater than what Cena or anyone else can see. Then, without warning, the man moves. Not with aggression, not with the explosive force of an attack, but with precision, closing the space between them in a way that feels almost unreal. Cena reacts instantly, instinct driving him to grapple, to overpower, to take control. But the moment their hands connect, something happens. A rush of something unexplainable shoots through Cena's body like a shock, but not painful. It's a feeling that sinks deeper than skin, deeper than muscle. A weight, a force, something that doesn't belong in this ring, in this arena, in this world of competition and spectacle. His grip falters for a fraction of a second, just long enough for the man to break free with minimal effort. The crowd sees none of this. To them, it looks like a standard exchange, a test of balance and leverage. But Cena knows better. He felt it. Something isn't right. He steps back, shaking off the sensation, his mind racing. Was it adrenaline? Nerves? No. He's been in this ring too many times to mistake fear for something else. Whatever just happened, it was real. And it wasn't normal. The man watches him closely, reading him, understanding something Cena himself doesn't. "You felt it," he says, his voice just loud enough for Cena to hear over the noise of the crowd. "That is the truth you cannot escape." Cena clenches his jaw, frustration flashing through him. He doesn't understand what's happening, but he refuses to be shaken. He lunges again, this time faster, stronger, determined to take control of this match. But the man doesn't meet him with force. Instead, he evades effortlessly, smoothly, like he already knows every move Cena will make before he even makes it. The audience is growing restless now. They came for a fight, for action, but what's unfolding in the ring is something else entirely. They don't understand it, and neither does Cena. But the difference is, Cena is feeling it. He is standing in the middle of it. And with every passing second, he's starting to wonder if this night was never about a match at all. Then, the lights flicker again, this time longer, the screens around the arena distorting for several seconds before snapping back into clarity. A murmur ripples through the crowd, a creeping sense of unease spreading like wildfire. Something is happening, something beyond what anyone expected. And in the center of it all, Cena is caught in a battle he never saw coming. His opponent takes a step back, his posture never defensive, never aggressive, just waiting. Watching. And then he speaks again, his words slow, deliberate. You can still walk away from this. Cena exhales sharply, his pulse pounding. Walk away? From what? A fight? A match? Or is this about something else entirely? He doesn't know. But what he does know is that whatever is happening right now, whatever force is creeping into this moment, it's not just in his head. It's real. And for the first time in his career, Cena isn't sure if winning is even an option. Cena's heart pounds, his breath coming in steady but controlled beats. Every fiber of his being tells him to fight, to push forward, to prove that he is still in control of this moment. But something deep inside warns him that brute force will not win this battle. His opponent stands firm, not in the way of a man bracing for impact, but in the way of someone who has already foreseen the outcome. The weight of those unspoken truths presses down on Cena, heavier than any opponent he's ever faced. And then, before he can act, before he can think, the final shift happens. The lights go out. Gasps ripple through the crowd, the darkness swallowing the arena in an instant. The screens flicker wildly, distorted images flashing across them too fast for the eye to catch. Cena stands frozen, every muscle coiled, every instinct screaming at him to brace for whatever comes next. Then, a single spotlight cuts through the darkness, illuminating his opponent. The man has not moved, has not flinched, standing as if the chaos around them does not touch him. The air in the arena feels charged, electric, like the moment before lightning strikes. And then, the man finally speaks again, his voice calm, steady, unwavering. You fight battles that are not your own. His eyes lock onto Cena's, the weight behind them more powerful than any physical attack. You believe strength is enough, but strength is nothing without truth. Cena doesn't respond, because for the first time, he doesn't have an answer. Every match, every fight, every moment he's spent in the ring, he's always known his purpose. To stand his ground, to push through, to win. But now, in this moment, none of those things seem to matter. This isn't about victory. It never was. The screens around the arena suddenly clear, flickering back to life. But instead of showing the match, they display something else, something that stops Cena cold. Images from his past. Not his victories, not his triumphs. Moments of doubt, of exhaustion, of weakness. The nights he wondered if it was all worth it. The times he questioned if his purpose was truly his own or if he had simply become what the world wanted him to be. Memories he had buried deep, flashing before him in an arena filled with thousands, yet feeling impossibly personal. Cena's breathing slows, his fists loosening at his sides. His opponent watches him, waiting not for an attack, but for understanding. And then, the truth finally settles in. This was never a fight in a way he understood it. This wasn't about strength or dominance. This was about something far greater. A battle not for victory, but for clarity. For awakening. The crowd, still unsure of what they are witnessing, begins to shift uneasily. They came for a fight, but what they are seeing defies everything they expected. Cena, the unstoppable force, standing still not because he is beaten, but because he is realizing something bigger than the match itself. And then, in one final moment, his opponent does what no one expects. He turns his back. It is not an act of disrespect. It is not an act of surrender. It is a choice. A declaration that this battle is already over, and the outcome was never about who would win but who would understand. The lights return in full force, the energy in the arena shifting from eerie to almost deafening. The referee looks between the two men, unsure what to do. Cena could attack. He could take advantage of the moment, claim victory in the way he's always known. But he doesn't move. He simply watches as his opponent walks toward the ropes, stepping out of the ring without hesitation. The crowd erupts in confusion, some booing, some cheering, but none of them truly understanding what they just witnessed. The commentators scramble for words, trying to explain what has happened. But the truth is, this was never about them. Cena remains in the ring, standing in the same spot, his mind racing. The match never truly began, and yet it feels as if something far more significant just took place. He doesn't know what comes next. He only knows one thing: he walked into this night thinking he was prepared for anything. But nothing could have prepared him for this. And as he watches his opponent disappear into the crowd, a single thought lingers in his mind. Some battles aren't meant to be won. They're meant to be understood.